The Gordie Howe International Bridge project has reached an exciting milestone, with its remarkable opening scheduled for 2025. Once open to the public, the bridge will become one of the most convenient links between the US and Canada. But this isn't the first time the idea of connecting these two countries has been explored. Similar structures already serve this purpose. So why was there a need for this massive construction project? What makes this new bridge stand out? Today, we'll delve into the fascinating story behind this ambitious undertaking, from its construction to the intriguing secret behind its name. The Canada-United States border is the longest international boundary in the world, stretching 5,525 miles across the U.S. states and 8 Canadian provinces and territories. According to Canada.ca, the official website of the Government of Canada, it's estimated that around 40,000 people cross the border daily. Additionally, many U.S. Native American tribes and Canadian Indigenous peoples have communities and cultures that span both sides of the border. The two countries share a strong history of trade and investment, fostering millions of jobs and supporting a robust economy. The numbers are staggering. Nearly $3.6 billion CAD, $2.7 billion USD worth of goods and services cross the border every single day. A significant portion of this trade, nearly one-third, takes place between Detroit, Michigan and Windsor, Ontario. Here, the Ambassador Bridge plays a crucial role, creating what some might consider a monopoly. The Ambassador Bridge is an international suspension bridge connecting Detroit to Windsor, serving as a critical artery for trade and travel. But what makes this bridge so significant? Metaphorically, a bridge represents connection, unity, and the joining of disparate parts. However, some view the Ambassador Bridge as more than just a physical link. It symbolizes a subtle sibling rivalry between the US and Canada. For example, when Windsor announced plans to open a casino to boost tax revenue, Detroit responded by proposing 3 casinos of its own. The Ambassador Bridge becomes even more fascinating when viewed through the lens of civil engineering. Construction began in 1927 and was completed in 1929, resulting in a massive 2,286-meter structure that revolutionized transportation between the US and Canada. Decades later, the bridge still retains its status as an iconic and critical infrastructure piece. Beyond its visual grandeur, it significantly impacts the economies of both nations. In 2022, a 6-day blockade at the bridge delayed billions of dollars worth of goods traveling between the two countries. While traffic eventually resumed, the disruption underscored the bridge's immense importance and highlighted the risks of over-reliance on a single crossing. However, this was far from the only challenge surrounding the Ambassador Bridge. One of the main concerns lies in its ownership. The bridge is privately owned by the Maroon family, a situation that has sparked widespread criticism. In February 2022, Amabarish Chandra, an associate professor of economic analysis and policy at the University of Toronto, shared his concerns with Paul Haverstrud on the cost of living. Chandra remarked, "It's definitely a vulnerability. We are overly reliant on a single bridge that was built in 1929. It's privately owned, so the owner can always raise tariffs and tolls whenever he wants. That's a problem." That's not all. By the early 21st century, the Ambassador Bridge had become the busiest border crossing, handling over 10,000 trucks on an average weekday across its 4 lanes. At first glance, this might seem impressive. However, a closer look reveals significant issues stemming from its limited capacity. With only 4 lanes, the bridge frequently faces overwhelming traffic and congestion, creating frustrating delays for travelers and businesses alike. On the Canadian side, the situation is further complicated by the need for vehicles to navigate narrow streets, posing additional challenges for trucks transporting large or valuable goods. These limitations have made the bridge increasingly inadequate for modern transportation needs. Recognizing these challenges, authorities concluded it was time to move beyond this outdated structure and embrace an innovative solution designed for the future. This vision culminated in the Gordie Howe International Bridge project, offering a modern, efficient, and sustainable alternative for cross-border transportation. On June 15, 2012, former Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper and Michigan Governor Rick Snyder announced an agreement to construct a publicly owned bridge connecting Windsor and Detroit. Under this agreement, it was stipulated that all iron and steel used for the bridge's construction on both the U.S. and Canadian sides would be sourced from either country, ensuring mutual economic benefits. According to the Gordie Howe International Bridge website, the bridge will be a 6-lane, 2.5-kilometer structure comprising 3 main components: 2 approach bridges, and the main span over the Detroit River. 2 potential designs were considered: suspension and cable-stayed. Suspension bridges are distinguished by their elongated M shape, while cable-stayed bridges are recognizable by their A shape. Authorities envisioned this bridge as one of the top 5 in North America, both in size and significance. This new construction sparked optimism for improved trade flow between the 2 nations. Brooke Handysides, Senior Vice President at CBRE Windsor, expressed enthusiasm about the project, anticipating that it would unlock new markets on a larger scale. Even residents of the Greater Toronto Area are expected to benefit from enhanced infrastructure and logistics. Handysides also highlighted the project's potential to boost activity in the local industrial and manufacturing sectors, creating more jobs and contributing to a higher standard of living. Brad Collins, who manages CBRE Windsor's operations, also remarked, "Windsor is anticipated to have the fastest-growing GDP in Canada over the next few years. This will have positive effects on our commercial real estate market and the community as a whole." On July 30, 2014, the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority, WDBA, officially began operations. The organization, led by a chief executive officer and governed by a board of directors, was tasked with overseeing the project's efficient management and implementation. Now, let's move to one of the most intriguing aspects of the project. How did the bridge come to be named Gordie Howe? If you already know, let me know in the comments. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on exciting developments in the world of mega construction projects. On May 14, 2015, Canada and the United States announced that the bridge would be named in honor of Gordie Howe, a legendary ice hockey player. True hockey fans who followed his career from 1946 to 1980 would likely understand the joy this decision brought. Howe, who played the majority of his career with the Detroit Red Wings, was a 4-time Stanley Cup champion. The name reflects the qualities the binational leaders wanted the bridge to represent: strength, excellence, and endurance, all of which Gordie Howe exemplified throughout his career. When asked about the naming decision, Governor Snyder revealed that the process wasn't contentious. Similarly, Harper believed it was an excellent choice. Sadly, Gordie Howe didn't live to see the bridge's completion. He passed away on June 10, 2016 at the age of 88. According to a January 1, 2023 press release from the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority, the completion date for the Gordie Howe International Bridge project was delayed, with costs rising by $700 million CAD, $523.6 million USD. The delay was primarily attributed to the impacts of COVID-19. This news was disappointing for many, as the original timeline of November 2024 was missed. The project is now expected to be completed in 2025, with an updated budget of $6.4 billion CAD. As you're watching this video, November 2024 has already passed. Imagine if the bridge had been completed by now. Instead of speculating about its features, we could be discussing the impressive advancements it has brought to cross-border travel and trade. However, timelines aside, one pressing question remains: who will bear the cost of the $6.4 billion project? Under the agreement between Canada and the U.S., Canada is responsible for the construction, financing, and operation of the bridge through a public-private partnership. This means Canada is funding the entire project. In 2010, Manuel Maroon, owner of the Ambassador Bridge, sued the binational authorities, alleging they had unfairly taken away his right to build a second span next to his existing bridge. Ambassador Bridge spokesman Phil Frame defended Maroon's stance, stating the rights that we were granted and which we used to base our investments over the years, hundreds of millions of dollars of investments. We want to have clarification of these rights as they were originally given 80 years ago. In 2012, Maroon was jailed for contempt of court after failing to complete a joint infrastructure project with the state of Michigan to improve access to the existing bridge. This incident deeply affected the Maroon family. His son later released a statement claiming that the legal process had become a personal vendetta against his father. Despite these controversies, the authorities overseeing the Gordie Howe International Bridge project remained steadfast. They successfully navigated the challenges posed by Maroon's opposition, ensuring that the new bridge would reach completion. We hope you enjoyed watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, and be sure to hit the bell icon so you won't miss any updates on the construction industry.